how's it going? Welcome back for another ASMR Overwatch VOD review. So today we're going to be taking a look at a Masters DVA match. I believe they play Zarya for a few moments here, but for the most part, we're gonna analyze some gameplay, see if we can learn a few things, and just discuss DVA overall. I believe at the time of the recording of this video, this person was actually high diamond, like 3400. But I think now they've hit Masters on support and with tanks. So congratulations to them. And let's go ahead and dive into this match. And yeah, let's see what we can learn together. And of course, at the time of this recording, DVA hadn't had her mech call damage boost, so it's like I think 250 damage. I don't think that's going to change the gameplay too much, but that said, let's go ahead and dive into this match and hope that you're all doing really, really well. And yeah, come on, let's go. So the first thing that we can see here is that this person has chosen Zarya to begin with. It's always a pretty safe choice right there. We've got a Zenyatta, we've got an Ashe. Let's see what the rest of the team chooses here. The other team has Winston, Ball, Zenyatta, Mercy, Tracer, and Widow. So it looks like to me that the other team has a lot of diving. Not so much their healing combination, but their tank line and part of their DPS. So you're going to get a lot of pressure on some of your team here. DVA, I think, is a pretty decent pick here. You can cancel out that Widow, put pressure on the Zenyatta and the Mercy. So we're pushing out here is the Zarya to begin with. Again, I believe he changes pretty quick here, but let's just see what we can learn here with the Zarya. Okay, just pushing out. This looks like a good push so far. Okay. You're all got a good pick on that Winston there. You have the advantage here. Now, I don't want to dive too much into the Zarya, but we can see here your charge is pretty low, so I think internally you're going to want to be thinking to yourself, you know, I need to switch because clearly with Zarya I'm not getting a lot of really good value. That was a good pick on the Winston there. I still think with the 0% you have low charge here, so I think you could get a lot better use. And so I think you will switch here probably. Okay. Looks like a wipe here for your team. That Widow put a lot of pressure. Okay, I see why you made that switch. Might have been the energy. I'm not sure if it was that or the Widow. So, a shield might not have been a bad pick here. Might not have been great with the Winston stuff, but it could have helped with the Widow. But alright, we're pushing in. Okay, I like that you're taking the high ground there. Okay, so I can already see here one thing that things were a little bit crazy on that corner there. I think you could have positioned yourself maybe a little bit back. In terms of, let's see if we can go back here. You did sort of do it a little bit here, but I think when you dived in and then sort of fell down here, it was a little bit chaotic. I think you're going to do it here. Let's see. Yeah, you did split this here. I just think that was not what I probably would have done. It does look like it works out though, overall. Good, that was really good on the Mercy. So one of the things that I think is really important here is that in low Masters, I do think that what's required to climb and also to keep up with everybody else, it does require a lot of kind of annoying specific things. It's not so much about getting huge 5-mans. It's about getting, or 6-mans. It's about getting being consistent and focusing on minor details, and they make a difference because they add up over the course of that, the total match or the rest of the match. So it looks like you guys will be getting this point here. That was a wasted, I think that was a pretty bad play on that ball. She did get the Ana, or hit to get the Ana, but there was only 2 of them. They're going to waste 3 ults, it looks like here. That was a good push. I like that a lot. I'd probably pull back here. I think you're at risk of demeching. Okay, that was good. Really, really good. So we're pulling back here. I would push up to that road there. I think I do see now. We didn't see this hamster here all of a sudden. I probably still would have. I initially would have pushed up with the Roadhog just to try to create some peel. I didn't see this hamster here. I think that complicates things, but you do have 3 here. And they should be able to deal with that. Let's just see how that plays out, though. Okay. See, I probably would leave this. I would have left that hamster. I think definitely in the rank that you're at, you're going to want to have to practice putting pressure on the hamster, but I think you really have to be careful about how many seconds you're giving of your attention to the hamster, because a really good hamster is really good at disrupting, and they're gonna suck away a good 10-15 seconds of just nothing. Exactly, here he's chasing again. So right now he's taking a lot of time. He probably took about 15 seconds there. Alright, we're chasing the hamster again. No, it looks like he did take about 15 seconds off the clock. I think that was a good, I think you did a really good job with your peel there. You dove back, you saw a problem, and that's really, really useful. So, let's see here. Okay, now the hamster's causing problems, so that's really good. Okay, taking a high position, that's really important with D.Va. You want to be posturing up there. It's too bad you don't have a dive partner here. So that was really good follow through. I think that that was the right thing to do, honestly, so I have no criticism there. So I think there was a lot of stuff you've been doing really well, but I do think a theme that we're seeing here is just the attention you're giving to this ball is probably a little bit, maybe 15%, a little bit too much. I would let the rest of your team in the back there try to deal with them a little bit more, but that's just one thing I'm seeing here. So actually one of the things I'm noticing here is that your sensitivity seems a bit high. Actually, if we just go to this last play here, we will play it through. When this Winston comes back here. Okay, just another second here. Okay, right here, we can see you're sort of just, look at the stability on your aim here when the Winston dives right here. There it is. You just see you're moving pretty heavily back and forth. It's my opinion that probably means your sensitivity is just a little bit high. It'll feel less responsive to lower it, but actually it'll help your aim here because you can see you're just slightly wobbling. I think that might help you a little bit. Okay, that was good. I would also say one other thing that I'm noticing here is your usage of your rockets. I think so. We'll kind of just go through each thing and how well you're using them and what ways you could use them better. I think with the rockets, you're a little bit casual with when you're using them. You did use them against Winston a couple times, which looked good, but I think there might have been some better times to use them because it's a really powerful ability. Good push up on the Zen. Again, again, is you kind of were wobbling. If you saw that battle with the Zen, I think that actually that's a really good sign that your sensitivity is too high, because you could have just not even moved because he was sitting in front of you. So that's one thing to consider here. Alright, that ult was okay. That was sort of a questionable rocket usage again there. That goes back to what we were saying before. That was really well done. So the one benefit of that high sensitivity was that you kind of had a good movement on the ball there, but at the same time, I think a steady movement would be a little bit better. So some things we've just immediately seen here is rocket usage could be a little bit better. Just looking around to see where your team is at would be also very helpful. Rocket usage, a little too casual. I'd probably just be a little tighter about that. That would help you build up your ult a lot faster. Also, again, the ball, I think maybe you gave a little bit too much attention. I think maybe pushing onto their team, being counter-aggressive, might have actually helped you even more here, although your team is doing pretty well. You've done a good job with the Widow. That's really important. That's possibly one of the most important things, because that's pretty much your job since you have a hog. But you've done a great job on that. Your positioning with that, that's one of your strengths, so that's really, keep that up. Caught out position here a little bit. You got a little greedy. Lucked out with the bob, that's good. I'd probably pull back here. You've got 54%. I mean, you could get your ult here. Just step back a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, the sensitivity issue, I think you could work on, just test out your sensitivity a little bit better. So that's a great example right there where you're a mech call. I mean, since this is before that implementation, but had it been in today's game, that mech call would have done a lot of damage right there to the ball. So again, that's a skill we can't really talk about in the context of this game. But I do find that you don't want to get too fancy with the mech call, because ultimately it's 250 damage. That's going to kill some squishies. I think the flank behind the back, kind of go around for the squishies in the back, that's probably a mistake. It's a little too risky. But I think doing it on the payload like you did there was really smart. So again, that's something you would see later on in today's game. But the game of a couple months ago, it didn't exist. Alright, so we're chasing this tracer here. I would have probably not done that. I would have held back. Pulling back, taking a little damage, but it looks like you're going to get your ult here. That's pretty good. I would definitely pull back here if you can. Get out and go with the rest of your team. Because again, that ultimate is going to be really, really important. I've only got 55 seconds. So again, you know, you need to be really aware of your time limitations here, because again, you have basically one push left. So you really want to make sure your whole team is here. And you have an ult, which is like, you got 3 ults. That could win the fight for sure. They've got 3 as well. Okay, let's see how that. You did get the hamsters, so I think you could have maybe gotten a better use out of that. If I, maybe you can correct me, maybe, but it did seem like that was kind of a panic ult. I think I might have handled that a little differently. You do have 20 seconds left. You walked in and you kind of just threw it out there. At the level of Masters, the thing about the Diva ult that's really important is that it's not as effective as when you're in Platinum and below. What differentiates is that most players at a certain level are just really used to hiding behind a corner or something like that. But at this rank, again, yeah, people are gonna hide. You got the hamster who probably, my guess is, had low health at that moment. And so, therefore, you're going to need to take that extra 10, 15 seconds, maybe 15 is too long, 10 seconds, to just set up for a good ultimate, because we see here they have no shields, and one ultimate, if you had killed one of these other players, it might have been a lot more useful. The hamster's going to get back pretty quickly. Let's see what happens here. It does look like the final push, 20 seconds. We'll just play this out, but that's kind of what I would have done. And in the next round, we're going to look more at your... okay, that was a pretty decent rocket. I like that. I would aim for the Mercy here. Yep. Excellent. That was really, really great. I want to look at your damage matrix, because that's probably one of D.Va's most important abilities. And we'll sort of look at that more next round. Okay, I would pull back here. Oh, you guys got the point. If you do find yourself out of mech, a good thing to do is just step back a little bit so you can get range to pistol out the remainder of the ultimate and get your mech back. Now, if we just stop for a second, the things that we saw there were target prioritization. You know, again, you were chasing the hamster a little bit too much for my liking. You did with the tracer a couple times. I think you would have been better served stopping, looking around where your team is at, and maybe just prioritizing other targets more. And that again comes back to that that W formation. You know, you're looking around at the whole screen. You're really looking where your teammate is at, your teammates are at, and you're trying to make sure you're in the best position to be healing for your healers, absorbing some damage for your main tank, or if there's no main tank like there is here, allow him just some coverage, some peel, and a little bit of positioning. So I think that will really help. Your sensitivity seems a little bit on the high side. And again, I don't want to be harsh here, but I think at the rank that you're at, these little specific annoyances kind of make a big difference overall. But your sensitivity looked a little bit high, so I would absolutely investigate that a little bit more, take a look at your settings. So basically those are the things I think you could mostly focus on. Settings, positioning, usage of your abilities just a little bit more. And again, I'm trying to just be a little bit specific here, because I think to get from low masters into high masters or GM or even top 500, you're going to really need to limit your mistakes and increase your potential every single play. Because again, if you can build your ultimate charge 7% faster, 10% faster, you're going to get that many more kills, you're going to make that much more impact. So those are the things. You did a good job with the Widow, hunting her down, taking her out of the match. I think that was really, really well done, so congrats on that. Your ult usage was mixed. I think I would have probably handled them, a few of them, a bit differently, but let's see how you handle them in the next round. And more importantly, I think we're going to go ahead and focus a little bit on your damage shield, because I think that's one of her most important abilities, and I didn't really get a lot of time to look at how well you were utilizing it. So let's go ahead and just jump into this next round here. With this Zarya, I think you didn't have really a great round. There's probably not a lot for me to add, except that when you see that you're not getting a lot of usage, I would switch, and you did, so that was really good. That's a piece of advice for Zarya that, you know, or any character really, that'll come in handy later on. So here we go, jumping into the next round. Alright, so we've got our D.Va, we've got Widow, we've got Ashe, we've got Roadhog, and we've got unknowns. On the other team, we've got Widow, Tracer, Zenyatta, Mercy, and Ball and Sigma. So Alright, yep, give it to that wall. It's not great. One other thing that I wanted to, you can just see here, look at the spread on the damage there, like when you're close. You get such a tighter spread, and when you were shooting far, it was wide. So another thing I'm going to look at in this particular round is sort of how far away are you when you're shooting. Okay, that was decent rocket usage right there. You got some good charge off of it. Again, you're giving a lot of focus onto the ball here. I think that's a mistake. Okay. That was an interesting choice there. I would probably go to the other side. That was good pressure on the Widow. Okay, I like that. You did give up a lot of charge on that play, though, and you didn't really get too much out of it. Alright, that's really solid. Moving in. There's that ball again. No damage matrix usage here. You probably could use it a little bit here. Yeah, I mean, if you have the damage matrix, I think you should use it a little bit, like in these sort of low-key situations, but it is good in general to be really thoughtful about when you're using it, since it's such a powerful ability. You almost have your ult as well. Again, I'm seeing a lot of wobbling. I think lowering the sensitivity would really help here. That's a good pick. Yeah, you're going to want to press this Mercy. Get that health pack if you can. I definitely would have gone for that health pack, like, right in that moment there. So, let's see. Okay. Looks like your team has cleared this one up. There's that ball. Alright. So, that was good. Again, with the new Diva, again, you might want to save that for the right moment. I don't think you want to save that for a 5-man, but again, just, you know, putting in some damage, 250 damage is a good amount. Okay, we're coming over here. I would definitely appeal for her. That was good pressure on that Widow. Again, you're doing a really good job with, in terms of prioritizing the targets you need to be, like with the Widow and stuff. But again, I do see some time wasted with some other, that'll probably, let's take a look at that again. But I think this, so we've got Bob used here. They've got Transcendence, or yours and as Transcendence here. See, I think I might have been more with my team here again. I think you are going for the Widow, which is really useful, but I think, again, taking that extra second to, like, look behind yourself. Again, a lot of tanks don't do that, but just stop, look behind, and I think you're going to find pretty good results. Like, you'll be able to know what to do here. In this scenario, you had 3 on the cart, and you were sort of putting pressure on the Widow, but the team kind of needed you here in the front line, so that works out. You're 2 for 2 here. This ult, I think, was questionable. Again, I would not have used this here. You've lost the fight already. And again, you kind of did it in an obvious way. I think one weakness we're noticing with those ults is, like, taking the extra 10 seconds to go find a good location and do it. Because in low Masters, that's not going to kill anybody right there. In Platinum, it might kill a couple people, but, you know, somebody might duck behind this over here on the right, this wooden platform here, the cars over there. You know, I think take a little extra time. That was good use of rockets. There's sort of an interesting positioning up there. She's really getting pocketed pretty hard. You're making her life hard. That's really good. that's a hard one. That's a hard decision right there, but I think you did the right thing in the end. You were chasing the Widow a little bit. But what I would have done differently there, and I think, again, one thing that would help your prioritization with targets is I might go for the Mercy instead. I mean, you're putting a lot of effort into that Widow, but you know, if you just dive the Mercy first, for example, I mean, we're back here. We can just go back. See how much you look at this. I mean, you could be putting some pressure on her right here. That's where I would pop to the right there. She just flew away pretty willy-nilly, but I would have definitely tried to pressure her a little bit more than the Widow. So now we're just moving in here with the team. The damage matrix. I'm not seeing. I might have seen. Coming out of that tunnel, you're definitely going to want to put up that matrix. This sort of brief matrix there. This is bad play right here. This is unfortunately. So I see why you did it, but I think this is a big mistake. I think this is something you're going to need to stop in the match and really analyze for yourself. But that tracer, again, like the ball, I see you kind of going for the shiny object, and I think, yeah, D.Va has mobility, but you really want to be near your team like a tank, you know, I mean like a literal tank in battle. You would notice that the infantry stands near the tanks, and you should probably be thinking about it like that in this game. You're sort of off chasing the tracer. She's going to teleport, go back to her team. Who knows what's happening to the rest of your team here. And you've lost a couple seconds here. Just, it may not have mattered in this play, but I would say you got to be really careful about which, like, that's so you chose to attack the Widow, which was really good. But then I would say the mistake here is, like, the ball and the tracer. Those really aren't targets that I think a D.Va should be prioritizing, in my opinion. You don't have a lot of other characters who can do it, but yeah, she got out of there. So time was wasted. In the meantime, your Hawk is dead. Now you're down a tank. You're gonna have some trouble here on this push, and now you're down 2. So I think with your Matrix, you do a pretty good job. You're very cautious with it. I don't see you wasting it, which is really good. That's probably the best way to be if you're solo queue. But I think that you probably want to be using it in certain scenarios, like going in tunnels and things like that. I didn't see you using it in the way that I think a pro would probably do it. Not that you're playing against professionals, but there are certain bottlenecks where you're just going to really want to use it. This is a waste of time when you're battling the tracer. I would move on if you can. Alright, you guys lost this point, I think. I'm glad that you didn't use your ult right there either. So hopefully when we come back, you're going to be thinking about how to use this ult in a very creative way. So let's see what happens. Maybe this may be the moment. Okay. I would definitely hold this high ground. Again, yeah, okay, you're good. There it is. But that's crucial, especially on this point here. This high ground here is absolutely essential. They're down 1. I'd probably try to put some pressure on that Mercy, if you can. Take the high ground. The Zen is good too. I like that. Okay, just trying to avoid some death here. And take that high ground. Excellent. That was good peel. So you do a good job really with going back to your backline and peeling for them. I think that's a strength. I think maybe you could do a little better job trying to hook up with your other tank, just synergizing a little better. I know that a Roadhog isn't a great synergizing tank, but I think that might have helped just a little bit. Chasing the ball again. I just wouldn't waste my time with it. I would probably just leave that ball, let him, I mean, give him a couple shots here and there, but I think you're giving him a little bit too much attention. Alright, I like that. Gotta be on that high ground for sure. Definitely take a position. You could go on the left side there on that platformer. That was a big hook. Alright, I would not use my ult here. They're gonna expect you to sort of launch it in there. So I hope. Give it a second. Again, you're wanting to take high ground. I think taking that extra second on the high ground, that's really gonna help. Okay. I'll be using my matrix in here, okay? Good brief usage. This is an aggressive push here. I would have held off on that, but in the end that worked out really well for you guys. Get that health back. That was unfortunate. I think let's stop for a second there again, because you know that was another moment where your ult didn't really connect. I haven't seen an ult that really connects, in my opinion. Like, I think you need to be really, that's probably one of the biggest areas that I think you could really focus on. That would really help your gameplay a lot, because again, getting usage out of your ult is one of the essentials. Alright, we're just moving along. Pistoling out to get back out if you can. Unfortunately, I would have moved back and initially, pushed in there, but you probably would have died anyway. Alright. Pushing in. Trying to get there with our team. It's overtime. I like that position. I think you probably should have taken this position a little bit more for my liking. You see that high sensitivity a little bit there too. Alright, nice peel. So I would say your defense matrix is not bad. You're doing a pretty decent job with it, I would say, overall. Sometimes I would maybe look for specific areas of each map to use it in more frequently. But you're not wasting it at all, which is really important, so. Okay. Pistoling back up if you can here, try to get away. You know, that's one of the things right there, especially because the mech call is so powerful now. I think you could easily just have rotated to the other side. Try to move back a little bit, because as you can see here, you had 67%. A couple more pistol shots, you would have had it. Let's see if anyone... You might have been there to stop it. I think that, with your diva, don't get frustrated. Like, you want to be like, oh, where am I? Okay, I'm going to back up and try to get out of there. So, I think that was a pretty good round. What would I have done differently? I think with your defense matrix, I think you're doing an okay job. I think from that round, the important thing was positioning and the other things we talked about, but really taking high ground as much as possible, because that really makes a big difference, especially as diva, because you're denying the Widow Mercy combo there. So we're gonna have a really tight match here, 1 minute each. Let's see what happens. I would like to see a little bit more, some more changes from your tank. Duo, you and the Road, or just anybody on your team. You have Carson and Carsona. I'm guessing that's a duo. But it seems like you're keeping things pretty similar. The other team is swapping in a Reaper and some other stuff. I think maybe adjusting and putting some other characters in there might have helped a little bit more. So let's see what happens here. Alright, we're pushing in. I would say hopefully they don't leave you to be the one who sits on the cart, because you need to be pushing forward a little bit, taking space here. Yeah, I mean, so I would say that your space taking could have a little bit of improvement. I would not chase that Reaper. Definitely would have. I think that was avoidable for sure with the Reaper in the small room. There's no way. You gotta always move away from that there. That was good. Again, in the new with the new Diva change, you could have used that mech call on that Zenyatta or something. All right, I like that you're pushing pressure on that Zen. That was really well done. That was huge. All right, got out of mech though. May have not been worth the sacrifice, but let's see here. 60% they've got. That Mercy ult. It looks like you're going to wipe this one here. That's really unfortunate. Bob, okay, it's possible. The last ball minute, that ball at Desperation Switch. Can we get a couple more meters out of this? Let's see. Doesn't look like it. That's a really good switch, though. Again, at that rank, you absolutely need to be switching to Ball or Winston. And Ball is even better than Winston, of course. But you know, if someone else was playing Ball, but you want to have the option to have a character who can get to the point quickly. If it's support, it's Lucio. If it's tank, it's Ball. I actually like to use Echo also. Echo, Tracer, both are pretty good at getting the point for DPS, but yeah, Ball is essential to switch to there. Now let's see if you can pull off the win. This is going to be a really tight match, I have a feeling. Okay, so what do we have here? We've got... Looks like we're gonna play Rhine here. Let's see, I wonder... I mean, maybe you could have switched into this a little sooner just because of the Widow. And now they don't have the Widow, but that might have been useful. But I'm just going to blame it on you just wanting to do a Diva match to help me out here with this VOD review. So, alright, let's just find out what happens in this last nail-biting minute right here. Swinging pretty hard right there. Alright, here we go. Let's see here. Our big fire strike. Where we landed that. That was really good. Looks like we have Reaper, I think, to flank there on the right. Alright, yep. So I wouldn't chase him. I'd definitely hold that front line if you can. This is a bad idea. Fire strike. So I think with Rhine, I like to compare it to a rubber band. If you pull the rubber band a little bit too tight, it's gonna break. So with Reinhardt, he's taking pressure. You're pushing on the rubber band, and he's got to give a little bit of space. So I think you, like that rubber band, you wanted to pull back so that you could allow some elasticity there, and that would give a little bit less of a flat formation on your front line there. Again, you're going to want to, if you ever study like wars or battles in history, you'll see like the front lines do have to give a little bit. If you try to hold that rigid structure, it's going to break, and that's going to create a complete break in your line. So in this instance, you're pushing pretty hard forward, trying to hold that space. I might have just given a little bit. I think that might have helped there. But at that point, your team is basically dead. So, yeah, there's not much that could have been done there. I think they had a better team in terms of their selection at the end. As you see, I think that they made a lot of switches. Alright, so now let's talk about sort of our final thoughts about this match. Basically, I think you're a great diva, and you had some really awesome plays. I can see a lot of room where you could make some improvements. Diva is a player that she's mobile. So I think you could have been taking high ground a little bit more actively. You were chasing down the Widow really effectively, which is one of her jobs. I thought that was really good. But again, I would have taken that extra time to W your head, look at the whole screen, look behind you, try to see where the rest of your team is at. I think that would have really helped you as well. Your Matrix was pretty good usage. I didn't see any problems there. You were pretty conservative about using it. Your ultimates were a bit lacking. I think that's a big area. You really need to learn how to create tricky diva ults, because that's the hallmark of a great diva player. And of course, in low masters, you're in that top 3%, I think. So you need to start thinking about having a little bit of finesse with that consistency. You're not just trying to do the bare minimum. You're probably getting some sweet plays, and I think with diva, getting a great ult is a big part of that. Unfortunately, at Masters, a regular just throw it up in the air ult isn't going to work unless it's a shield-based opposition, because then in that case you take the shield down and then you ult. So I think, yeah, that's one thing you need improvement on. Your rockets were a little willy-nilly. That's a huge damage burst. I would definitely take the extra second, think about when you're hitting that rocket usage. Some other things I would probably focus on are those main things, but then also the sensitivity. I did notice you had a little wobble. The common advice for tanks is to have really high sensitivity. I used to do that, and I found it a bit prohibitive. With the Reinhardt, it's great, but with the diva, you're gonna probably, I mean, you showed in one of your little spots there the spread of the weapon, and so with that wobble, you're really creating a huge spread, and it's not going to do the kind of damage you want. I would think about when you're choosing diva also, because with the team you had, I think she may not have been the best choice there. I think a shield tank could have been a lot better for good portions of it. By the end, they had a big dive combo, so, you know, but Reinhardt surprisingly could have done well there. But I also think that they had the hamster and everything, so it would have been a bit miserable. But their Widow was putting in work, so again, that's something I would have thought about. But all in all, you did really good plays, and again, those little changes will make a big difference, I think. And that's my main piece of advice for you. I also want to say thank you so much for sending this in. I think it's Defferatel, if I'm pronouncing it correct. It's been really great chatting with you about Overwatch, and I really appreciate you sending this in so I could help others learn from it. I think you showed really good gameplay that a lot of people could learn from, but also, even at Masters, there are some mistakes that are made. GM, top 500, people make mistakes, and I think it's the amount of mistakes and the quality of the mistakes that really make the difference. At low masters, you're right on the cusp of greatness, and I believe anyone in low masters probably, with the right training and adjustments, could get to GM. That's just my thought. You've already gotten this far, and now it's going to just require a certain mindset to really push yourself. There are those that are just born with it, but there are others, like myself is one of them. I've had to just work at it really hard, and you know, I think if you focus on some of those things, I believe you're going to get the high masters for sure. So anyway, thank you so much for sending this in. If you want to send in your VOD for review, it's nathanasmrs@gmail.com. And I'm a few months behind, so please be patient. But we should have a Genji Tracer video coming up next for our Overwatch series. So hope you have a great night, and thank you so much. Take care.